Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner. We're in the early access event for the latest expansion, Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and Wizards of the Coast is hosting all of the Twitchers and YouTubers on a client server. So we're all going to have VIP after our usernames for a change. And I'm making one more deck before the evening gets away from us. This one's focused around the Ancient One. A legendary creature, 8/8, has Descend 8. So Descend is basically just means that the graveyard matters as far as permanent cards. In this case, instead of saying non-land, lands count as permanents in this case. So our Ancient One can attack or block, unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. You can help sort of fulfill this prophecy the obvious way by spending the 4 mana. You draw a card and discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. So you can sort of mill yourself, and in a couple of turns you'll have 8 permanents in your graveyard and you can attack with an 8/8, right? We're going to try and do something crazy, and we're going to try and mill them out instead. So to do that, I have almost all Ixalan cards, but I do have 4 copies of 2 other cards that are not from Ixalan. That's Sheoldred's Edict, a simple, utility card that we use for removal. And this is mostly because people keep insisting on using planeswalkers from other sets. We're playing in constructed, not limited, so nobody's really limited to Ixalan. But my rules for myself is I try and put like 95% of the cards are going to be from the new expansion, just to show off the cards and let you all see them. The other card is Shadow of Mortality because it costs 15. It's one of the most expensive mana costs in the game. So if we've got Ancient One out on the field and we draw and discard Shadow of Mortality, we can mill them for 15 cards. So that's part of the idea. To get there, we need to survive. It's a hard feat. We've got 4 copies of Bitter Triumph. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. The cost is we have to discard a card or pay 3 life. It's not bad if we have to discard a card because it'll help us populate our graveyard with permanents. We also have Malicious Eclipse against the Swarm decks. So if somebody's got like the version of mono red aggro, we could play this card. My problem in playtesting so far is I get this when I need this, and I get this when I need this. So we'll see what happens. My card number 61 is 1 copy of Treasure Map. This we can use to scry 1. We get the landmark counters on it, then it transforms. We get 3 treasure tokens with the land, and we can use the land once a turn to sacrifice the treasure and draw a card. Sounds complicated, but you get used to it really fast. Trust me. We've got 1 Defossilize to bring back probably the Ancient One. But this card also allows you to explore twice. So we return the creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then it explores, and then it explores a second time. This is a returning mechanic from the original Ixalan expansion because we are revisiting the plane. And I think this is sort of a good way to ramp land. So if you're new and you weren't around for Ixalan last time, the way this works is you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, you just put it into your hand. If it's not a land, your creature gets a +1/+1 counter on it. Then you have a choice. Do you put the card into your on top of your library, back there on top, or you can put it into your graveyard if you want. So again, if we get to use this, maybe we could just put stuff into our graveyard so that it's ready for the Ancient One. Other stuff we can use to populate our graveyard, Rampaging Spiketail. It's got swamp cycling, so we can just cycle it for 2, throw it in our graveyard, and get a swamp. And Marauding Brinefang, 7 cost, Ward 3, Island Cycling 2 to go get islands. I've got 1 copy of Chimel the Inner Sun. It's a legendary artifact. Spells you control can't be countered. At the beginning of your end step, you discover 5, and discovers a new mechanic. But we've seen this type of effect before, but it's sort of like I don't know if it's going to be forever known as Discover or it's just for this expansion. But you exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card with that particular mana value. So the number is going to change depending on what spell you have. But for the Chimil spell, the number is 5. So we get a card that costs 5 or less. And it's your choice. You can either put it in your hand, or if you want to cast it now, you can cast it without paying the cost. You can cast it for free. We've got 4 copies of Gargantuan Leech, a 5/5 with lifelink. It costs 1 less for each cave you control and each cave card in your graveyard. A cave is a special type of land. and we'll go over that. I have a few. And then we have a kind of board wipe of sorts. Bringer of the Last Gift. It costs 8. 6/6 Flying Vampire Demon. When it enters the battlefield, not from defossilized, it doesn't count if we return it from the graveyard. We have to cast it. Each player sacrifices all other creatures they control. Then each player returns all creature cards from the graveyard that weren't put there this way to the battlefield. So all the cards that I might land cycle, swamp cycle, or island cycle, I could bring those back. And then, of course, we have the Shadow Mortality itself that's 7/7, and as my life goes down, it gets cheaper to cast. Okay, for the lands, we've got Hidden Necropolis, 4 copies of it. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can sacrifice it and discover 4. This reminds me of the Seek capability over in Alchemy format, but there's just a little bit, you're limited by the number, right, of the cost of the card. So, again, you get 4 for the value max, so it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4 mana card. And if you want, you can cast it. If it's not advantageous for you to cast it, you just put it in your hand. And this is a great utility card for the game. I think it's going to help just move things along. If you get to the middle game and you've run through all the cards in your hand, it'll help you go find something. So maybe those spots where you flooded out for 3 turns drawing nothing but lands in a row, you'll be able to use this to sort of counter that effect a little bit. I've got 4 copies of Restless Reef. This is one of the lands you can turn into a creature. For 4, it becomes a 4/4 blue and black shark creature with Death Touch. Still a land. And when it attacks, target player mills 4 cards. So we could use that to mill them out, or if Ancient One needs more permanents, we could mill ourselves. So you notice that all of these are not mill your opponent or mill yourself, it's mill target player. So they're leaving the choice up to you. Cavernous Maw is also a cave. It becomes a 3/3 elemental creature. Still a cave, but you can only activate it if the number of other caves you control either on the battlefield plus the number of what might be in the graveyard. So the Hidden Necropolis is a cave. It's meant to be sacrificed and used, but it still counts if it's in your graveyard as far as Cavernous Maw is concerned. We have Pit of Offerings, 1 more cave. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you exile up to 3 target cards from graveyard. Remember, this is an expansion where the graveyard matters a lot. So graveyard removal could come in very useful. The problem is a lot of these special cards they give you up front. So I've already gotten this a number of times in my opening hand, and I really didn't want to play it, but you got to. And Volatile Fault is also a cave. So it's sort of like the Rune land. You destroy it. You sacrifice it, you destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls, they get to go into the library to get a basic land card. We're familiar with that, but we don't get a land card, we get a treasure instead. So something to keep in mind. Might be advantageous, might be a bit of a drawback compared to the permanent they get with having a basic land. But that's the idea. I think we've got an hour left in the event, max. We're going to see who's still out there playing. There should be some diehard Twitch players or YouTube content creators that are still willing to play me. If you like this flavor text, but it goes by too fast for you, remember you can go to the announcement section and they have this stuff up there. You can just sort of arrow through and read it at your own pace. So just in case you're new to this and you don't know, you're trying to read like an entire paragraph of the flavor text that they put up on here for you, and it disappears. They alternate between the flavor text and the hints for the game to help you out. But yeah, go to announcement section. You can read any of that stuff that you want without having to worry about a timer. And that's a tip from your Uncle Larry. Okay, I don't have a 1 mana play, so we put the tap land out first. They've got a disgusting land already. This is from Eldraine. That turns into a 4/4 creature. We're going to go ahead and bring out the Ancient One now. Yes. This is good for us, right? Because we're going to exile this. The Dread Knight's a tough card. They have chances to bring it back all the time. We're not going to let them. They're ready with another one already. Yeah, I guess we do that. And then we're going to swamp cycle. Every turn they have a threat. Every turn. Let's put down the tapped. Let's go ahead and discard Bringer of the Last Gift. And I should do this against me, right? Eh. Let's mill them. Mostly lands. I might have done them a favor. We're not worried about that. We don't have any counter spells. They can return a land card with that, so they just got another Restless Cottage. That kind of stinks. And they got a free one there. Well, we're going to do the same thing. Let's discover 5. Bit of Triumph. And we'll just pay 3 life, and we're going to get rid of... I think we have to get rid of you, actually. But we're near death now. That gets a +1 from the tortoise. And now they're getting rid of my stuff. Did you get rid of a permanent? They did. Gross. See, I got the wrong kind of removal. Ouch. I can't really pay the right colors for that, can I? Okay. We're discovering 5. It's the ancient one. I gotta put it in hand. Oh, that's terrible. And they get to see that too. I'm trying to see if there's any... I mean, Chimil is an Ixalan card. But none of these others are. Okay, we got Glimpse the Core, so... and Sentinel. Okay, so we've got 3 cards in there. Let's see. Whenever it attacks, they get a food token, so we'll just blow you up now. We'll get a token and they'll get a land. And we'll blow you up. And we'll get a token and they'll get a land. And how did they have enough energy to do that 3 times? I think I missed something there. Oh, activated abilities with lands cost 1 less to activate. Yeah. So Blossoming Tortoise with the specialty lands is really big. And we're dead. And look at how many lands they got out. I think green is going to be an easy winner with this expansion. Because I can really still just put out 1 land a turn. But the moment I switch out my -2 minor sweepers as soon as I get swamped by a bunch of merfolk or pirates or something. Hey, speak of the devil. Get their land. I think we go ahead and swamp cycle. Hang on a second. Okay, non-creature counter target non-god speak spell unless its controller pays 1. So get rid of you now. If they want to counter it, they still have to sacrifice the same creature to counter it. Yeah, so you still lose the creature. Oh, they countered. Oh, never mind. They sacrificed the other one. Ouch. Okay, so with that, I guess I gotta do this. Now, do you sacrifice this one to save that? No, you do not. They've got a land every turn and a new threat every turn. And I'm running out of ammo. Hello? We made him think. We don't have very much in our graveyard just yet. They're, oh, well, I guess we're resolving that without paying for anything. So they sacrifice their own creature just to do the make disappear and make it good. I think I hold on to my volatile vault. They've got a lot of non-basic lands, but I think they'll probably have something that can attack me soon. Jadelight Spelunker is a good fun card. It's an X spell, so they get to explore the X number of times that they do things. And they just kept they like that creature on there. So they're keeping it. We're just going to pay 3 life and get rid of you. And now that our life is low enough, we can just bring these up. Aha! Restless Vine Stalk. Do they take the 7 or do they chump block? They're going to chump block. We'll bring down their other one. Let's see, this becomes a 5/5 with trample. And let's see, one other target has base power and toughness 3/3. Okay, so they kicked that as much as they could. They got counters, but they couldn't control the one of ours. I still don't have the right amount of land, so I guess we have to swamp cycle. And we've got lethal. We don't care about the order because they're going to lose one. Oh, that's a fun card. We can just regular cast the Rampaging Spiketail. Target creature gets +2 and indestructible. Okay, so they make good on the make disappear. And they can chump block with that. No, they don't have enough to turn that into a creature now. And that's game. So I feel kind of bad because we won using Shoulder's Edict and 2 Shadows of Mortality, which are expressly not Ixalan cards. But that's because they killed my Ancient One. And you notice even after that entire match, I still only had 4 permanents in my graveyard. So there is a limiting if you want to... I'm playing this wrong, right? Because it's blue and black. And blue has some other cards that allow you to put things in the graveyard. So there are also other cards from other expansions that are much better about putting things in the graveyard. So let me go ahead and do... Hang on. We've got to wait for this to resolve. I've been playing all day long. I'm not sure if my computer's running out of juice or just the load on Wizards servers is getting to be crazy. But while we can still actually play a decent match, let me go into Sparky. And I end up doing this a lot during the early access events, just because we've got the card. We want to have a chance to show you how the card works in action, and sometimes we just get killed too quickly, or we can beat our opponent, but not the way that we wanted to showcase a particular card. So with Sparky's a little bit easier to manipulate so that we can actually win the way we want to win. 3 Ancient Ones. That's a terrible hand. We're keeping it anyway.
For some friendly competition.
We're keeping it. That's our win condition, is the Ancient One, so we're keeping it. Hidden Necropolis. Ancient One. I think that's fine. Lots of flyers. We'll try and get rid of them.
Oh.
We got rid of them. Alright. We're going to get rid of Shadow of Mortality. We're going to mill our opponent. land. We're going to draw a card. We'll get rid of Bringer of the Last Gift. We'll mill our opponent for 8. Another Ancient One. That's the one card that, interestingly, is not good. We'll just discard a card here. And we'll discard one of the 4 Ancient Ones. And I think we can bring down a treasure map. And we scry. Gargantuan Leaf is fine. One of the Gargantuan Leafs can go away. We'll mill them for 6. We scry. Brine Fang is perfect. And we scry again. I don't think we need another tap land necessarily. And then, yeah, we just pass. 7 lands left. They just made things easier on us, right? Still can't block. After all this time, still only got 5 permanents. So again, if you wanted to make this where you mill yourself, there should be some other cards that actually help you put stuff in your graveyard. We didn't do that here. Discard the expensive one, 6. And we milled them. And, you know, you can do stuff like this where you can bring out your own Ancient One. Keep the original. Bring out your own Ancient One. Auto pay. Keep the original. And now, you got rid of 2 of your own Ancient Ones, and your final Ancient One can actually attack and block. Unsummon.
Congratulations. You've done it.
Alright. So it can work against Sparky. Let's go in and take a look at the deck one more time. Again, it's probably a very intuitive use for you to just go get a few blue cards if you want to do blue and black. And there are actually other cards in the other colors if you want to expand beyond 2 colors that you can throw a lot of cards in your graveyard pretty quickly. And so you should be able to get up to 8 permanents. And that gives you relatively fast an 8/8 creature that can attack and block. You still have to worry about removal, of course. But in this case, I just wanted to go ahead and show the possibility of another way to do a mill deck that people didn't expect. Because the way that this reads, everybody I think is going to be mostly milling themselves. And I saw the card and I thought, well, could we do it another way? So there's a possibility. Anyway, we're going to leave it there. Thank you to Wizards for hosting us on this server and allowing us to play with your toys. And for the rest of you, remember to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment on what you think of the Ixalan expansion. If these cards are exciting to you, I know we didn't get to actually cast Bringer of the Last Gift yet. That would have been fun. But let me know what your impression is for the opening segments of the cards. Are you going to look forward to this, or is there something that you disapprove of? We would like to know. But as always, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll have something different for you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.